Yeah.
Olive Garden date. Oh, that's gonna be on. Lovely. That's gonna be in your recording. That I want to go on an Olive Garden date.
That's fine.
Except, you know,
I'm sure future me will enjoy hearing that you want to go to Olive Garden.
breadsticks, man. And salad?
I'm not a big breadstick.
Really? Breadsticks are delicious. Their soup is.
I do like their garden salad. Don't like soup at all. I think people who order soup at restaurants are weird.
Same.
Wow.
Because why would I pay for that?
Like, you can make it at home.
Just make it at home.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to like every meal ever, though.
I don't like a lot of soup.
Okay, but it's different. Like, you don't have to be a trained chef to like make soup.
But
It's
restaurants
soup.
make soup differently. You know, it's not
No,
like
they
it's
don't.
like.
Okay, the only place I would buy soup from is Zupa's, because Zupa's is fucking. I don't
Okay,
know.
Zupa's is really good, but I never tried the
So we're going to talk
soup.
about
I
our
refuse to
systems
taste soup.
now. We're going to start with cardiovascular. The thing you need to know is that it is the transportation highway. All right? Transports materials in body via blood pumped by heart. So the cardiovascular is made up of the heart, and then the blue is your veins, and the red is your arteries. Blue is deoxygenated. So right here, oxygen, just put red if you're doing your PowerPoint so you can see. Carbon dioxide is blue. And the only two things the heart's made up of, like I said, is the heart and the vessels. Vessels you'll find breaks down and you have to write this down because we haven't studied the heart yet, but you've got your arteries, arterioles, you've got your veins, your venules, then you've got your capillary beds, but we'll learn that later. Arteries carry oxygen, veins carry carbon dioxide. You need to know that. Arteries, oxygen, arteries, red, carbon dioxide, veins, blue. What do they carry? Nutrients, arteries, waste, veins. You might as well learn this now. You might as well have it right there. You're going to see it again. Nutrients, arteries, waste, veins. Okay? And it is the transportation highway. That's its nickname. That's what it's known as. The lymphatic system runs right next to the cardiovascular. What you need to know and we'll learn about with the lymphatic system is you're going to have three things when we talk about the canals within your bones to allow for these three things to go through. It's your vessels, it's your lymphatic vessels, and it's your nerves. Those are your three critical components. So what does the lymphatic system do? It returns the fluids to the blood vessels. Let me explain. Yes, we will go into greater detail when we get into the lymphatic system, but you should know this now. The lymphatic system, so when you are moving oxygen into the organs, oxygen and nutrients via arteries, via the capillary bed, goes into the organs, okay? Organs are then nourished. Your cells, remember we talked about that. Cells is the smallest component of your system. So we've got your system, you've got your organs, you've got your tissues, you've got your cells. Cells need to eat. When you're hungry, it is not you that is hungry. It is your cells that are hungry, telling the nervous system to tell the brain to tell you you're hungry. If you don't eat, then the nervous system, the cells say still hungry, need nourishment. Then that information is sent to the brain. The brain hears that message and says, well, I already told you once you needed to eat. So now, let's go ahead and make the stomach growl. And that's where your stomach rumbles and growls. When that doesn't work, and then there's a third message, at that point you start feeling faint, nauseous, lightheaded, sick to your stomach. If you continue not to eat, the body says, fine, You don't want to feed me? The cells go, I'll find nourishment, and it starts pulling from your fat. Please understand though, your fat is not healthy. Fat is the bad stuff, okay? Your body will gobble up anything healthy. Potato chips, alcohol, drugs, whatever that is stored in your fat is not healthy. Will it sustain your life? Yes, for a while. Will it make you sick? Yes, after a while. Do you understand where I'm going with all this? Help you kind of understand your body? So the lymphatic system is really critical. When your oxygen and nutrients go into the organs to feed the cells, when the waste, just like you poop and pee, so do your cells. They poop out waste. They poop out, anything, pee, poop, whatever you want to call it, comes out through what's called exocytosis. Again, you don't have to write any of this down. This is to help you understand your body. So it expels waste. Where does it go? It can't just float around in your body. What happens is that anytime the oxygen and nutrients go into an organ, you've got waste coming out at the cellular level of that organ. It has to go into the capillary beds, waste in the veins. Again, the oxygen that it leaves going into the organ. But when that happens, it has to go across what's called interstitial fluid. The interstitial fluid carries, unfortunately, some of your blood vessels, and it's critical to your life. So because of that, the lymphatic system, it snarfs anything up that gets not put where it belongs. In other words, I'm trying to talk in layman's terms right now for you. So when you've got, what? Someone say something? So when you've got waste, for example, and it's going into the veins, some of that waste isn't going to get into the veins, okay? It kind of floats around. That's okay, because then your lymphatic system, which has these little, they're valves, but they're set up to where it grabs it. It just flows right into the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system will then take that, clean it up like a washing machine, and put it back into your heart, which then goes into your entire bloodstream, nice, healthy, clean, just like your clothes are clean from a washing machine. When you have, let's see, what else am I thinking with lymphatic system? Well, you'll learn about all the different nodes and stuff, okay? There's a lot more than this. I mean, you've got Peyer's patches, you've got lymph vessels, lymph nodes, lymph tissue, all kinds of stuff. Your tonsils are lymphatic, your appendix is lymphatic. Don't have to write that down because we haven't studied it yet. But that'll give you an idea of all the different places where you can actually find washing machines, if you want to call them that, okay, that help clean up the debris from your blood. But you need that interstitial fluid. You can't take that loss, and so that's where the lymphatic system comes into play. It will, and now don't get me wrong, most of your interstitial fluid will go back into wherever, whether it's moving into the organ or moving into the blood vessels. But that doesn't get in, like I said, the lymphatic system grabs it, okay? Even if it's healthy, it'll grab the arteries, the arterioles and stuff too. Even if it's healthy, it just doesn't have to clean it. It just still carries it to the heart, but it just kind of runs right on through the washing machines, if you want to call them that. Like I said, the nodes, the tissues, the Peyer's patches. It just runs right on through the washing machine and still, gets put back in nice and clean, squeaky clean into the heart. So what does the lymphatic system do? It returns fluids to vessels. Obviously, we're talking about blood, so you shouldn't need to highlight blood. Disposes of debris. It is directly involved in your immunity. It is your immune system. Lymphatic is your immune system. I repeat, the lymphatic system is your immune system. A lot more to it than what I just shared with you. Whole lot more to it. Kind of fun though, when you learn what it does. All right, next, respiratory. Respiratory, yes, you will have to know. We are talking nasal cavity. I told you that's where it begins. Now, will you have to be able to break it down even further? Yes. Okay, you'll have to know about the nares, the concha, you have your superior, middle, inferior, all of that. There's way more. This is like a baby getting fed a bottle, okay? Eventually, you're going to have to be a college person eating grown-up food. So, but for now, what do you need to know? It's made up of the nasal cavity, which goes into the pharynx, which goes into the larynx, which then goes into the trachea. Now, even though this says bronchus, that's okay. What you're going to have to learn is that you've got your primary, secondary, tertiary bronchi, and then alveolar sacs. You'll learn that a whole breakdown with that. All right. But for now, just know that it's the bronchus, and well, you have a left and right lung. It's just pointing at the left lung. You have left and right lungs. Okay. So that is what makes up the actual respiratory system, but only, like I said, feed the bottle to the baby. There's way more to it than that. So it supplies the blood with oxygen, keeps blood supplied with oxygen. That's its only purpose, guys. That is its only, well, and to get rid of debris. Yeah, remove the carbon dioxide. That's it. That is the only reason you have a respiratory system. Take in oxygen, remove waste, which is carbon dioxide. That's it. Nothing else. The only thing it does. Your digestive system now. All right. That begins with the oral cavity. Again, you're going to have to break it down. Labia, hard palate, soft palate, uvula, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Way more. But for now, you just need to know oral cavity, which goes into the esophagus, which goes into the stomach, which goes into the small intestines, which again you'll have to break down into duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, which goes into the large intestine, which you'll have to know, cecum, ascending, hepatic flexure, transverse colon, splenic flexure, descending colon, sigmoid colon. Then you've got your rectum, which is where the feces or poop as you know it is stored. And then you've got your anus, which is actually made up of a smooth and skeletal muscle that holds the feces inside until you are ready to defecate. Unless you have diarrhea. Can someone tell me why is it that it's very difficult, if not impossible, to hold in diarrhea? Who can guess? Guys, one of the things I also teach you, those of you that are going into medicine to become a doctor, you are going to have to take, just like the lawyers have to take LSATs in order before they can be licensed, you're going to have to take MCATs. Well, actually, to get into medical school. LSATs to get into law school, MCATs to get into medical school. 1/5 of the MCATs is knowing how to what they call critically think. I think it's common sense, so I'm going to tell you that over and over and over and over and over. The MCATs, 1/5 is what they call critical thinking. I call it common sense. So, common sense. Why is it that you have a difficult time? Think about your body and what I've already taught you. You already know the information based on what I've already today taught you. Why would your body have a difficult time holding in diarrhea? What is diarrhea? Let's start with that. This is liquid feces. Yes.
It's like it's waste in
It,
the
yeah.
body.
It's pure waste. But why is it liquid versus solidified?
Because it can't break it down, right?
No. You're sort of saying it. Let's see if I can clarify that. So what you're telling me is that the nutrients which leave the stomach, and it's called chyme, which is like liquid, is not only not being absorbed by the capillaries to feed the cells, but is going through your system with no absorption being occurred and comes out the other end liquid. So it's already broken down, it's just not being absorbed. My question is why? Come on, guys, just think. She said it was waste.
It's everything that your body doesn't need.
And even more. Now, so I'm going to go with that, with everything you guys have shared. And I thank you guys for actually trying, okay? Guys, do not sit here and be spoon-fed. You'll never learn if you don't talk about what you think it might be. Being spoon-fed, I don't do that, okay? If I don't get people talking, I'll just sit here and say nothing until y'all start giving me something to work with, all right? So, the rest of you who didn't help, you want to be like a little baby and wait for the food to be fed to you. As you can tell, I don't like that, all right? You're not only are you juniors and seniors, you're taking a college class. So, I need you to work with me on this. Now, based on what they said, I'll give you the answer. What's happened is that your body, maybe you're sick, maybe you're not. Bottom line is, if you're sick, the body's only going to take exactly what it needs. Even if some of it's nutritious and it would normally take it, it's not going to. It's only going to take exactly what it needs. Your body requires more energy, called ATP, than anything you can do. Anything. It doesn't matter. You can run a marathon and you're still using more ATP digesting your food than anything else you could possibly do. Well, your body is saying, I'm sick. I don't feel good. We're going to go with that one first and then the other one that it could be. I'm sick. I don't feel good. And because you're sick and you don't feel good, the body doesn't want to waste its time taking food, even if it's nutritious, that it doesn't need. It would rather it just, as chyme, go right on through the system, all right? By the time it gets to the other end, and especially if you're sick, it is literally reversed and has been throwing a lot of the other waste that's in your body. It's throwing it back into your intestines because it'll get out faster that way than any other way. So it goes through your intestines. Your body doesn't want to hang on to it. And you might be saying, your body does all that? Guys, strap on your seatbelts. We're about to shoot to Pluto, the dwarf planet. The things your body does without your knowledge is going to blow you away. So, you have diarrhea. In a lot of cases, explosive diarrhea. That is your body saying, I don't want this in my system, get it out now. Why? Because in the large intestines, even though the majority of your food is absorbed in the small intestines, specifically the ileum, your large intestines will still absorb. And what's the first thing it absorbs? Water. Well, if you've got liquid diarrhea, it's full of water, okay? Because it wants to stay liquidy. Because of that, you don't want your body in that large intestine, which does not have Peyer's patches in it. Remember, I talked about that. You don't want that getting into your bloodstream. So your body's going to make you poop it out, even if you just think you're passing gas and you find out you've just, I believe it's called sharded your pants. Okay, that's why. That's why. There's another reason why you would have diarrhea. It's possible that you ate something like salmonella. Normally, your body, once it hits the stomach, will recognize poison, okay, and say no. And you don't just, how many of you have ever There's vomit and there's projectile vomit. Vomit is just bleh, you bend over and out it comes. Projectile vomit is explosive and it shoots straight out of your mouth. How many of you have experienced explosive vomiting? Raise your hand. All right, 1 of 2 reasons you did. 1, you drank too much and your body's trying to get it out of you as fast as it can because alcohol is poison. It is. If you drink too much, too fast, if you're a binge drinker especially, you will have explosive vomiting. Otherwise, explosive vomiting occurs because you have just eaten something that is toxic to your system. Remember I told you guys, you think, oh yeah, my fast food, you know, it's all clean. That's just a bunch of BS. Seriously BS. I don't care if they're wearing gloves. They're using those same gloves however long till they get a break, pulling up their pants, wiping their shirts off, you know, or their apron off, sneezing. All that goes into those gloved hands, okay? If your stomach recognizes that whatever you just ingested, your body does not want it in it, it's going to projectile vomit it out, okay? So those are things to give you examples of what your body does all on its own without you even recognizing what's happening. Want to know the only 2 things, this is going to make you laugh, only 2 things that are absorbed in your stomach. Nothing else is. Nothing else is. You ready? Alcohol will be absorbed from the stomach and aspirin. Check that one out. Isn't that interesting? Only 2 things. Everything else begins the absorption process pretty much at the jejunum. Not really the duodenum, because the duodenum is still throwing enzymes and digestive juices into the food. It's pretty liquefied, called chyme, but once it hits the duodenum, wrong direction for you guys. Once it hits the duodenum, then the pancreas and the liver, they're throwing in bile, pancreatic juices, enzymes, and they're liquefying it even more than before then it hits the jejunum. Some is being taken out of the jejunum, not until actually you reach the ileum, and that's like a whole bunch. That's like 25 feet of your intestines. Literally, yes, you have that much intestines in you. No popping gum. I don't care if you chew it, just don't pop it, please. That's where most of it is absorbed. But your stomach will projectile vomit it out if it thinks that you're going to get sick from it. I have another one for you, critical thinking / common sense. Critical thinking, medical terminology, common sense, Dr. Downing's terminology. So why, when you're drinking, do you pass out if you drink too much? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Speak up, I got a fan. Something about alcohol. Someone speak for her, because I still can't hear her. Come on, yell at me. So she says the alcohol goes into the blood, which makes it really bad. You're on the right track.
Does your body digest things faster when it's asleep, so then it can pass it all through faster?
No, but that's a good try. And yes, your body does everything better when you're asleep because it's not expending energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it because it's like a vasodilator, so not enough blood goes through your brain?
It's a vasodilator and what?
So it's like not enough blood getting to the brain?
You also are on the right track, but I'm going to stop there because you've actually hit what I'm looking for. Little bit skewed, but you're on the right track. All right, everything that was said is true. The alcohol goes into the stomach. It does vasodilate, which is excellent medical terminology, which means it makes the vessels bigger. It is a depressant, but what happens is that the vessels are bigger and it rushes to your brain very quickly. The brain recognizes when you've had too much because it needs to process, what's going on. The brain recognizes, whoa, way too many toxins, way too fast, and it will pass you out so you can't drink anymore. If you haven't projectile vomited out, which hopefully will you'll make you say, oh, yeah, okay, I better stop drinking, especially because you grossed everyone and yourself out. If that didn't work, or you didn't vomit for whatever reason, but you're still getting too much alcohol in your system, then before you actually reach, if your body is doing what it's supposed to do, before you reach actual blood poisoning, then your brain will shut you down. It'll pass you out. And then it does that so that you can't consume any more alcohol. Next day, you're going to wake up with a massive, massive headache, and you're going to be living on the I can remember the first time my son ever got drunk. It was in high school. Ever got drunk, and the next morning, obviously he couldn't go to school, and he was hanging, and obviously I didn't realize till he came home how drunk he was, but he was hanging on the toilet. He thought he had the flu. I said, you do not have the flu, you have what's called a hangover. All day, he was there when I left for school, he was there when I got home from school. I did not take care of him at all. I said, you want to drink after I told you what not to do? He goes, Mom, you know, what do I do? I don't know. Look it up, figure it out. I didn't tell him what to do, all right? But if you do drink too much, there are things that you can, one, you want to try to put greasy, and you think, why greasy food? That sounds nauseating. Actually, it's not. To be honest with you, the best thing you could put into your body, rather than eggs and stuff and bacon, would actually be oatmeal, toast. That's an absorbent, and your body will actually, that will help you. And then drink so much water. You have to practice sit on the toilet because you're going to pee all the time. Bucket here, sit on the toilet that way, and you'll have diarrhea probably. You're going to be peeing a lot, but that's because your body is trying to get rid of it. I'll be honest with you, I've only been drunk one time in my life. That was all it took. And I was in my 20s, in college. I think I was, 22 maybe, something like that. And a bunch of girlfriends wanted to do tequila shots. Well, I liked margaritas, still do, but I thought, oh, hey, turns out I liked it. Okay, Cuervo Gold. I remember it like it was yesterday. Seriously, remember it like it was yesterday. I could close my eyes and even feel when I unpassed out, meaning when I woke myself up. Nobody helped me. I went into the bathroom drunk, okay, weaving back and forth. I knew that because my girlfriends told me. They thought it was quite hilarious. And went into the bathroom and, went to the bathroom, came out and thought, oh dear, I think I'm going to pass out. Backed up against the wall. I remember like it was yesterday. Went down, went purposely, laid myself sideways because I was afraid I was going to pass out. I didn't want to. I was afraid I'd crack my head open. And I remember thinking, true story, oh, this tile feels so good. I had my face, granted, it was concrete floor. I don't think it was tile. I mean, I don't ever remember seeing tile on a bathroom floor, so I'm pretty sure it was concrete. But I had my face on that until I woke up from being passed out. Is that just gross or what? I don't know how long I was passed out. I know nobody helped me. I can tell you that much. When I woke up from that, came the projectile vomiting. And that grossed everyone out, embarrassed the heck out of me, because guess where I was projectile vomiting? You know the trash cans in the bathrooms that everybody wipes their hands and throws their, yeah, well, that's what I was throwing up in. So never happened since. First and last time it ever happened. I do not recommend it. That's why I'm telling you what is actually happening to your body. So back to digestive tract. All right. So yes, it breaks down food. Now you understand. Allows for the nutrient absorption in the blood. This should all make sense to you now. All of it. Eliminates the indigestible material or waste. If it's indigestible, it's the same waste. All right, that should make sense to you now. Urinary system. Now, nitrogenous means acidic. Okay? Yes, you consume things that are acidic to the body. The cells, when the cells use the nutrients, what's left over is acidic. Okay, not acid where it's going to kill you type thing. You can actually drink your urine and survive for 3 days, in case you didn't know that. If you have no water and you're stuck in the desert, you can drink your urine, even though it's waste. Here's the problem, actually, critical thinking / common sense. Why, if you're able to drink your urine, would that be what kills you after 3 days? Not when you're first drinking it, 3rd day. Yes?
Because after it's gone through so many times, it's just the milk.
Absolutely. Good job. Rock and roll. Exactly. If you're drinking your waste, okay, there's still enough good in it that you're okay. This goes on by the 3rd day, as she said, you've recycled it so many times, it's just uric acid. That's all it is, and that will kill you. All right, good job. So the urinary system actually will maintain the acid-base balance. You'll learn about that, which does have to do with your bloodstream. And it also regulates your water and your electrolytes. So urinary eliminates nitrogenous waste, maintains acid-base balance, regulates water and electrolytes. You really kind of have to know all of that. What makes up the, notice, okay, and I've just drawn a blank. Adrenal glands. The adrenal glands, which are found, they're like little dunce caps, found on top of the kidneys. They literally don't have anything to do with the urinary system per se. They deal with hormone balance, okay? You'll learn about that when we get into that. The kidneys themselves, okay, and then through the ureter, which is stored in the bladder, and then comes out the urethra, whether it's male or female. Those are the main organs in the urinary system. Okay, yes, you know, you need to know those. Memorize them now. Reproductive is easy. Okay, its only job is to produce offspring. That's all it does. You've got, for men, men have prostate glands, women do not, which can be cancerous. They have the seminal vesicles, vas deferens, testes, scrotum, and penis. Women, on the other hand, do have their mammary glands. And guys, you do have mammary glands, but they're so small that they don't really, how do I want to put this? You don't really know you have them unless you have cancer in them, okay? Because it's your mammary glands, yes, it does produce milk, but it's your mammary glands that actually is where cancer occurs. Men can get breast cancer. Men do have mammary glands, but like I said, they're so small, they're virtually dormant, and you wouldn't know you had them unless you had cancer in them, and then you say, oh wow, okay, surprise. We have the ovary, which goes into the uterine tube, which goes into the uterus, and then the vagina. All right, and that's what makes up the womanness. We're going to stop here because this starts us on something new. And homeostasis, you're going to see, guys, homeostasis over and over and over again. Okay? So you are free.
I learned a lot today.
Now I have to eat toast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that one time?
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking about. I got really gross. And it just, I'm like, oh, it was like
It was
2 beers.
gross.
I think it was like 2 beers. Like, maybe 4 shots of tequila or something.
I think it was.
But it was like mixed with like soda too.
I thought it was whiskey.
Whiskey, well, either way. And then
It was so
I just,
gross.
I was just like,
She threw up on a white chair.
did it?
Yeah.
My boyfriend
Well, I
got
got it
really
all
drunk
over my
one time, and he like woke up in his vomit, and his mom cleaned it up for him. I haven't talked to you since freshman year, and it's kind of upsetting me because I see you and I'm like, yeah, hi. Sorry, But like his mom cleaned it up, and then his friend like passed out in their bathroom, like butt in the air, like passed out in the bathroom. He was clothed, but like.
Butt was in the air, man.
Yeah, he was like on his knees. I don't know.
It takes some skill.
My friend Luke, he went to Green Bay.
I've never projectile alone. God bless. I'd kill myself. It's gross. It's like Tommy doing it.
There was one Thanksgiving.
Yeah, me too. Do you like when people throw up, or do you like?
Not like that, but I'll just be like,
Am I gonna throw up?
I'll be like, get the fuck away.
I never do that.
There was one
I want
Thanksgiving.
to.
I've had the stomach flu, and it like scarred me.
Really?
You just taste the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, like I think I had the same feeling I didn't know, and I was just like, maybe I'll drink some Sprite. That'll make me good. Yeah, and my vomit was that was so gross. And then I found out I was allergic to goldfish, like you know the rainbow kind. And it was just like
so
it was
specific.
like one different like
I'm
mega
allergic to the
color.
purple ones.
Just like, what is it?
Oh, like dry heaving is the worst.
Yes.
Oh,
It's horrible. I had it because one
Oh, right.
Thanksgiving.
never mind. It's like
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Ew.
I had it. Yeah, I ate like way too much, and then I projectile vomited. Like, oh, it was horrible. Like I could feel my stomach like starting to clench before anything happened, and it was like so tense. And I told my mom, like I was in the kitchen at my uncle's house, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, well, go to the bathroom. Like,
it just feels like someone's like trying to tear apart my
Yeah.
esophagus.
yeah. And
I'm sure.
I haven't thrown up.